Boys, we need some fucking energy up in here.
Let's go!
Does hearing my voice still sound like 80% like at health, like not get you guys fired up? Because I talk, like I'm having voice cracks like I'm 12 years old again, and I'm like fired up talking. I'm like, fuck yeah, my voice sounds like this because the fucking Sox are back.
Back to Folk. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Papelbon sets. At the belt. The pitch. Swing and a miss. It's over. The Red Sox have swept the Colorado Rockies. The Red Sox are the world champions of baseball for 2007.
It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions.
Sale winds. He fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the world championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 world championships. Can you believe it?
And welcome into episode 9 of the one and only Fenway Faithful Podcast. I am Stephen Griffin, joined as always by Jonathan Cobb and Michael Willard. Tonight's episode is a big one, so buckle in. But before we start, I hope you all know what went down over the past weekend. Not only are the Red Sox on a 9-game win streak, 3 consecutive sweeps, and playing some of the hottest baseball they have all season, yours truly, the Fenway Faithful, ventured to New York City this past weekend to represent not only the Fenway Faithful pod, but the Fenway Faithful fan base when we traveled alongside the Boston Red Sox to their away series against the New York Mets. Obviously, the results speak for themselves. The Red Sox completely swept. There was never a doubt. We were at the first game, the Friday night game, and the Saturday afternoon game, both of which were awesome.
I mean, Stevie, let's not bury the lead here. We had some of the best cheesecake we've ever had in our entire life. This was so good, it put me to sleep. It put me to sleep.
Highlight of the trip. It was really the highlight of the trip.
Yep. I mean, we got as good of content as we could have ever imagined. We got 2 Sox wins, and we got the best piece of cheesecake ever. I mean, did we peak in that moment? Because I think back to that moment sitting there with the best piece of cake in my life, an ice cold beer, and thinking, life doesn't get better than this. It really doesn't.
I mean, yeah, we really were. We were just sitting there, and we're like, great seats that we just bought, and we figured out where they were in like a good section. The cheesecake and beer. We're like, everything's going too good right now. Like, everything was happening to us was awesome, and one of the better weekends of my life. That was honestly a very fun trip.
Yep, the voice has been recovering for the last 48 hours. I was having a lot of trouble speaking yesterday and Sunday. Again, today's Tuesday, July 14th. We are recording on a Tuesday of All-Star Week here. And yeah, I'm at about 80% for the voice. And you know what? I honestly love it because I was screaming my goddamn heart out for this scrappy, winning baseball team.
Especially Justin Slayton. You were screaming at Justin Slayton the whole time.
Slayton!
Yeah. So we went down Thursday night. It was a late night trip, got in a little bit after midnight. Friday we spent some time in Manhattan and then went to the game at night. Then Saturday we did a little bit of the opposite. Game at 4, then went back to Manhattan afterwards. But fantastic trip. We all had a great time. New York City's New York City.
You know what's bullshit?
Yeah.
You know what's bullshit? Getting a sunburn when it's cloudy out. I got burnt bad on Saturday, man.
You know what else is bullshit? The Empire State Building.
Oh, what a complete and total fraud.
Yeah, absolute fraud. We turned that corner, And Steve is like, pull out the camera, record it. I go, for what? What are we looking at? It just looked at like a normal ass building. And I'm like, wait, that's the Empire State Building? Like, I haven't seen it since I was like 10 years old. I'm like, it doesn't really look special. We walked away and saw it from the side. It looked a little better, but still, if like you said, Cobb, if it's really because of the antenna, then my truck, my 2012 Nissan Frontier, everyone should be crawling over that thing because of the antenna on that thing. But yeah, I just think the Empire State Building's so overrated.
Complete and total fraud. I didn't think I would ever be more disappointed than seeing the Bean in Chicago. What a dumb, stupid piece of quote-unquote art, whatever the hell you call that. First of all, kind of sad that that's your art in your city. But anyways, I never thought it'd be worse than that. When I saw the Empire State Building, I was like, this is the ugliest effing building of my entire life. And like, this is like the Mecca of New York City. Get that shit out of my face.
But the opposite when we went to Times Square, like those buildings all looked really cool and all the honestly, walking through that, it didn't feel real. You're like looking up and it's like, holy shit. And like just advertisements screaming in your face. It's just like, does not feel real. But there were so many times where we kind of just sat there and just were taking it all in. We're like, wow, like it's a pretty cool sight to see. Yeah, Empire State Building, no.
I agree. We got many clips, some interviews. They're all up on the YouTube. They're coming out on Instagram, Twitter. So keep an eye out. We had a lot of fun making those videos. The phones or the GoPro was out like every other second. So we got a lot of good content.
Yep.
So if nothing else, I recommend checking all that out.
Yep, we did vlog the entire trip, so the interviews were fantastic. But that was just a small snippet of our weekend in NYC. Mike is going to edit up probably 45,000 hours of footage of that GoPro. And we're going to get that out to the YouTube as soon as Mike can. Is that correct, Mike? You got an ETA on us for that?
So I think I'm going to record this episode or edit this episode first and then start working on the vlog. I'll try to get it up by the end of the weekend, hopefully by Sunday the latest. But most of the footage I have to go through was Cobb drunk taking the GoPro from me and going around. He was having a blast with the GoPro, so I'm gonna have to go through a lot of that footage. So it might take me longer than what I was expecting.
No. All of the cinematic clips that you see are going to be with me behind the camera. You have no idea the artistic mind that I have. Regardless of how many drinks I had, completely irrelevant to the videos that were taken. So shame on you, because when you see what I recorded, you're going to love it.
Well, I did want to just give some shout-outs here. I want to give a shout-out to you two. I do the easy part. I just have the editing, the ones and twos. But you two were the personalities here at Fenway Faithful. Great questions during the interviews. You really brought the personalities out of these people we were interviewing. There's a lot of funny-ass content we got. It's because you guys kind of pulled that out of them. And you guys seemed natural doing those interviews. And all the rest of the vlog content made my life pretty easy. Just putting my phone up and recording all of the amazing moments of the weekend. So shout out to you two.
Let's go.
You're going to make me cry, Mike. You're going to make me cry. No, but seriously.
Yeah, that's the one compliment I'm going to give you two. But
I'll take it. I will take it and run with it. I'll return the favor because none of what we do happens without Mike behind the scenes taking the videos. He does the dirty work. He's our Anthony Siegler. He's the one firing us up behind the scenes. He's the one getting the edits up and posting all the social media. So shout out you, Mike.
Thank you. And getting compared to Anthony Siegler is probably the best compliment of my life.
Again, that's the last time you're going to hear a compliment from me. So let's get back to reality.
The last one
here.
I'm expecting.
Yeah. Let's get back to reality. And our reality is a good one, fellas. The last time we got together was Wednesday, July 1st. Where were we? We had just finished up a 4-game sweep of the Yankees, and we were high on life. We won Game 1 against the Nationals, and then we got smacked Games 2 and 3 of that series. We were coming back down to earth. The team was sitting at 37-48. We were 6 games back of a wild card spot. And what the hell has happened since? 9 in a row. All on the road. We have won by a margin of, quick math here, 48-14. 48-14 over this 9-game win streak. I mean, a lot of these games are 3-4 run games. The game on Sunday against the Mets, the comeback, that was really the only close one that we've had. We've been in control of all of these games for about 2 weeks. We're riding that 9-gamer. We are sitting at 46-48. And heading into the All-Star break, we are a half game out of a playoff spot. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, man. The summer Sox. The summer Sox putting life back into this team and giving us some hope.
They do it every year. Mike, do they do it every year, or am I imagining this?
No, let me get to my thing, because I was thinking the same thing. I feel like this happens every single year. But, so obviously you said 3 straight sweeps. We're a half game out of the wild card spot. We've swept 4 out of the last 5 series, because you look back, we swept the Yankees series as well before losing that series to the Nationals. We are 17-5 since June 19th, and we're 9-1 in the month of July. So we are scorching hot. The offense hitting .244 with a .756 OPS, so hitting pretty good. But I did some research because, like we all think, I feel like this happens every year. They get hot in the sun, they play mediocre baseball, and then they go on this run. So I looked back at the past couple years. So last season, they went on a 10-game win streak right before the All-Star break. So actually 1 game better than this one. And they went 17-7 in July last year. So July is what turned that season around, because they were around 500 the first half of the season. Went on that crazy the 10-game win streak, and then finished the month off pretty well, and that got them to push for a playoff spot. And then in 2024, they won 9 out of 12 right before the All-Star break. And then in 2023, they went 7-1 in July before the All-Star break. So this is a thing with this team. Right before the All-Star break, they just mash. They play their best baseball. But then the All-Star game happens, and that kind of kills the momentum. So last year, we had 2 series right off of that All-Star break after winning 10 in a row. Chicago and Philly. We lost both those series. We picked it back up after, but losing those 2 series right off seems like our momentum was kind of killed after the All-Star break. In 2024, we proceeded to lose 8 out of 12 the rest of the month. And then in 2023 wasn't as bad. We won 8 out of 15, so around 500 the rest of the month. So we tend to go on these runs right before the All-Star break. The All-Star game kills it, and then the rest of the month, and then for some of the seasons, kills the rest of the season because those teams didn't make the playoffs. So my question to you guys is this run legitimate? Are we going to see what we've been seeing the past couple of years, where after the All-Star break, we kind of just fall flat right again and maybe miss the playoffs, minus last year because we made the playoffs last year? Or is this real and it's going to be a 2024 type thing where they went on a run right before the All-Star break and then end up making the playoffs? Is this real?
I think it all depends about the injuries, about who's going to be coming back. Is this going to be a middle of the lineup that is Durbin and Monasterio, or is it going to be Wilson and Roman Anthony? What we do at the deadline. I'd always thought that these swings that we had leading into the deadline, and then, even moving a little farther back in April, we would always start off pretty cold. I always thought that was a Cora thing. Now Cora's gone, and we're still continuing that wave. So I don't really have any explanation for it. I don't like betting against a streak, though. I'll tell you that. I can't imagine that we are going to come back out of this All-Star break playing like an 800 winning percentage baseball team. Now, when you ask, is this run real? No, it's not real. But are we going to have meaningful games in September? That's all that I'm hoping for. As long as you just keep it around 500 for the rest of the season, we are going to have meaningful games throughout the end of September. We are going to have a podcast that is going to have shit to talk about that's not our AA prospects. So that is really what I'm rooting for. And if the way to do that is to go out and trade for a big bat, then maybe I'm wrong and maybe this is real. Maybe there's a chance that we can turn it around and keep this momentum going.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. I mean, I know this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I do really think it depends on how ownership and the front office views this team. Because right now on paper...
Hold on, don't let him squirm out of that. Make him give a yes or no.
Is this real or not?
Right now, I'm going to say no. However, that can change, and it will come by the deadline. Because even though, I mean, Siegler's been fantastic, some of these other guys, right now on paper, excluding the injuries that might come back, I mean, there's not a guarantee. I mean, some of these reportings are, I don't even know what to believe anymore on Anthony, Crochet, all these guys. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned, exactly. They need to seriously add if they want this team to go far. So if they think come July 31st that our only trade deadline move is we're going to wait for Roman and Crochet and Isaiah Kiner for Leffa to come back, no. Like,
if I try to get sold that the deadline move is Roman Anthony coming back, because that's a common thing that the Red Sox like to do.
They're going to do that.
I'm going to throw up in my mouth, put it in a bag, and drop it off at Fenway Park.
But they did that with Sale in 2021. They do that so many times.
Mike, your turn.
I mean, okay, final point. It's that this team right now needs additions. Even though everyone's playing awesome right now, they need to add. And the ads are not wait for these injured guys to maybe come back. So that's my thing.
I'm going to go against you too. I think this run is real. I think they're actually this flight they went on, or like almost missing that first game against the Mets. Something about them something going wrong with their flight really brings the team together, and they get so much closer. They're stuck on a plane for hours together, and you saw that last year, and they made the playoffs. I think getting close this weekend will really build this team together and really get it going, because the beginning of the season really didn't feel like this group was meshing well together, but we're starting to see them play better together now as of late. I also think this could really push us into the playoffs, because you look at all the other teams. The AL, we've said it many times, is really weak this year. There are so many teams under 500, barely any teams above 500. We're a half game out of a wild card spot, and all the teams around us are below 500, including us, but they're all below 500. If you keep up this winning pace, or even something a little below what we're doing, just a little above 500, I truly think you could snag one of those last wild card spots. The one thing that I was kind of thinking of, that what maybe killed teams in the past that I really don't want them to do this year, is this deadline. So, some past deadlines, they've either not bought or they've sold pieces that like people like and it upsets people, or they don't buy and then the team gets upset. The team gets upset if we don't buy, and they're like, why aren't you investing in our team? And then they start sucking because they feel like their front office does not believe in them. I feel like that might be one of the reasons why in years past they've just fallen flat in the second half and they've not made the playoffs, because they truly don't think their front office believes in them when they don't buy or they go and get like Dustin May. Hold
on. Stevie thinks we added, what was that, 2 years ago when we added Lucas Sims? Talk about an all-in move. Yeah, I mean, I can't stand the little moves, because who did we get today from the Tigers?
Jahmai Jones. Who was DFA'd, by the way, so.
Like what are we doing here, man? Like, we're still futzing around with 4A guys.
I guess so, because this run is definitely like getting Breslow so happy, because we're winning with a bunch of 4A guys.
Yep.
So he's like, oh, we can win with a bunch of 4A guys. Let me keep getting more 4A guys, and we're just going to keep playing well. So we really need to actually add at this deadline and buy, so then you don't just kill the momentum of this team, because they, like in the past, they're going to be like, well, you don't believe in us, and that just kills momentum. Or they'll trade guys like Chapman and Sonny Gray, who that'll also kill momentum because those guys have become close with everybody, and it's just like we're trying to win and make the playoffs, and you're getting rid of two of our best pitchers. Like, I just don't want them messing with this team's mentality.
I'm okay with a big boy move, if it even includes some talent at the major league level. I'm talking, I know this isn't very bold, but Meyer, Duran, Bayo, or I would even be okay with parting with some of those left-handed starting pitchers that we have. If it is a big boy move to go out and get a bat that is not a rental, someone that's here for a couple of years, make that move. The only thing that I have the most fear of is Craig Breslow doing nothing. Because that's what's happened. That's what we've seen the last couple of years through multiple GMs. And that is just a slap in the face. It really is.
I really hope that Breslow's like, all right, my job might be on the line. I can't just do nothing at this trade deadline. And I really hope that really motivates him to do something. We haven't seen... Well, I mean, he's made some big trades in the past, but we haven't seen it at the deadline specifically. We've seen it in the offseason. We have not seen it at the deadline. So I'm really hoping something will happen. Cobb, do you want to do... what was that trade that the fan you interviewed, Stevie interviewed? It was like Bayo, Duran, and Campbell for Bobby Witt or something. Like
he wants to get Bobby Witt. Great take. Except he thinks it's going to take... I believe, I forget the first player. I think it was Bayo.
No, it was Tolley.
It was Tolley.
It was Tolley.
Tolley and Christian Campbell. I mean, sign me up. Sign me up. Somebody drug the Kansas City Royals GM and get him to sign off on that deal. If so, that kid that we interviewed is going to be the smartest guy on earth.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stud shortstops, the Red Sox drafted one. They drafted a stud shortstop.
Shortstop.
It's a controversial pick.
Ranked 75th overall, but
all right, enough. And no Jake Schaffner hate. So as you guys know, I am a diehard Tar Heel fan. A couple episodes ago, what did I start that podcast with? I said shout out Jake Schaffner, shout out Owen Hall, and like Gavin Gallagher, a couple other players on that team because they were making a run to the College World Series. Yes, we lost, but that team was sick. That brought me some joy watching baseball because I, at the time, was not getting that with the Red Sox. And my teams, my favorite professional teams love drafting from my favorite college. Like Drake May, Jake Schaffner, Owen Hall. This is awesome. But I'm going to give you guys a scouting report on those two because you guys probably don't know who the hell these players are besides that they go to UNC and that I glaze them.
I knew you would get so excited with these UNC draft picks. It's like he was dancing around in the streets of New York City. Like he was heel clicking, jumping around. He was handing out money to homeless people. He was so excited that we were drafting two UNC players. I mean, he couldn't contain himself.
I was dancing around thinking we only drafted one, and then one of my friends said, "Oh, we also got the outfielder, by the way." And I go, oh, "I didn't even know that." And then I was so happy because Owen Hull was like my favorite player on that team, and I can't even believe we got him. I'm really excited, and you guys should be too.
Why should I be excited, Mike?
Because I'll tell you, we're probably going to see them soon. So both of them are in their 20s. So 21-year-old Jake Schaffner, 22-year-old Owen Hall. So you've kind of been seeing these college draft picks make their debut within a couple years. You're seeing that with the White Sox with two of our former picks, Braden Montgomery and Kyle Teal. Both out of college and both only were in the minors for a year or two, something like that, and they're both playing good. So chance to see these guys pretty early. I'll start with Jake Schaffner. Like Cobb said, he was ranked 75th on MLB prospects, and we took him at 20. But there's a reason for that. Less money, less slot money. That's how the MLB draft works. There's a certain amount of money each player gets at their slot value. So if you take a player less slot value in the first round, you could spend that money more later on in the draft.
And
so he's a 20.
Just want to point out, this is how we got Roman Anthony. when we drafted Roman Anthony, I believe it was Mikey Romero was the first round pick. Similar situation. He was not projected to be a first rounder. He signed way below slot. We were able to use that money in the second or third round to draft Roman Anthony out of high school. And what do you know? We got a superstar talent because of the way that we drafted. The MLB draft is pretty cool. I really like it for this reason because it's very unpredictable. You have teams that are futzing around doing stuff like this and messing around. Sometimes the best players don't get taken until round 3, round 4 because of the finite amount of money that you were allotted in the draft. It's really cool, and the players have a lot of power as well, especially when they're in high school.
And another crazy dynamic of it too is like usually the top picks of the like top teams picking in the draft are low spending teams. So a lot you like every other draft, like you know who the number one pick is, but in MLB you really don't because there might be a team like the Pirates that don't spend money, and they don't want to spend money on the top guy in the draft. So they'll draft someone. You saw that with like Henry Davis. Henry Davis was not projected to go number 1 overall whatsoever, but he wasn't going to cost as much money, and they took him. Hasn't worked out for him.
It stinks.
Yeah, it was a terrible decision, but they didn't want to spend that much money on a top pick. The next year they took Paul Skeens and spent all their money, but sometimes you see some of these top picks are made because of these lower slot values. But anyway, let's get into Jake Schachter.
Touch on that point because I just got a text right now from my dad about the big move, Jahmai Jones. He's pumped. He just said, "Oh, what a big move we just got." So,
hey, he's a lefty masher, man. He might be the next Romy Gonzalez.
Can never have enough.
He had to have been so good. The Tigers DFA'd him. Like he's probably sick.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking he is this year's Robbie Refsnyder.
Ooh.
Shout out Rob Refsnyder, batting a whopping 133 for the Seattle Mariners.
Bring him back.
Yeah, very sad. Very sad.
That'll be our deadline edition, bringing back Rob Refsnyder.
Oh, God. And we're going to have to keep doing this podcast every other week and try to get hyped about Rob Refsnyder.
Yep.
Hype me up about
Right.
Jake, all right?
Yep, I will. So 21-year-old, he's 6'2", 200 pounds, lefty hitter, right-handed thrower. He transferred from North Dakota State into UNC for his final season. He is not going to really wow you with the power. He's a contact-first guy, only 6 homers with UNC this year, but 19 doubles, 50 RBIs. He does have 60 grade speed. Now, when I say 60 grade, if you don't know, there's like, for scouting, there's grades, 60's the highest, 0's the lowest, obviously. So when you say you've...
80's the highest.
80's
the highest, and it's done on a bell curve. So you rarely, if ever, see anybody with an 80 grade something. Like even the worst runners are like a 10 or a 20 grade.
Okay. Well, that's probably why I didn't think there was an 80 grade, because I don't know if I've ever seen an 80 grade. Well, 60 grade speed's still good. Mm-hmm. He had 26 stolen bases this year and 8 triples. So pretty good. This past season, he hit .356 with a .467 on base, .552 slug, and a 1,000 OPS. In his college career, in 3 seasons, he's averaged a .354 average and a .936 OPS. That slugging that he's averaging is a .488. So like I said, not the greatest power hitter. He has a 55 grade hit tool, so good bat to ball skills. He's going to have a really good average year to year. He does not chase either, so the on base is going to be really high, as you saw in his college career, a .448 on base.
Mike, you've watched this guy enough. Great numbers. Yep. What's the guy like? Are we going to get a Marcelo Meyer that's too cool for school? Are we going to get Anthony Siegler that is out there busting his balls, diving up for everything?
Yeah. This guy's an incredible athlete, and he will die on the field to win you a ball game. He is truly a fucking dog. Like when I kept saying it, like we drafted a dog. He has a great mentality. Really good, just gets down and dirty type of player. He will not be a Marcelo Meyer, like one small injury gets him out, or he's going to Nantucket every weekend and with all of the ladies. Like I really think he's the anti-Marcelo Meyer.
One other question I have, which I think Cobb brought up over the weekend off camera. Because I know right now Arias looks like he'll be up here definitely at some point next year. And I think there's a lot of talk that he could be making a move to second base. I know he played second base in the Futures game. Where do you think, assuming, Schaffner, you said he could be up here relatively soon. How do you think he kind of fits into the mix?
Yeah, so he can play a reliable shortstop, but the arm isn't anything to ride home about. So I would think he would move over to second base at some point, but he could play a decent shortstop, but it's nothing too crazy. So I expect him to move over to second base at some point in his career, but he can play shortstop just fine. I also have some fun facts about him. He's roommates with Owen Hull.
I knew that one was coming out. I was looking up these draft picks before the show.
Yep.
I was like, oh my god, he's gonna pull this shit out.
Played hockey and football, so an incredible athlete, and he also played for Hyannis in the Cape League. So he said he grew up while he was in the Cape League. His host family were diehard Sox fans, so he watched a ton of Red Sox baseball. So he's a fan of the franchise.
Cape League, wood bats. You have any stats on that? Can he hit with wood? That's always the big thing with these college players. These college players are sitting there using drop 3, drop 5s. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm hitting a ball with 90-mile-per-hour exit velo with some of these bats that they're using. The real jump comes from when you switch to the bat.
I have that.
I'm going to a game this Thursday, Yarmouth Tennis Red Sox.
Nice.
Me and my cousin, who's from Sweden, we're taking on a game.
Nice.
As we do summers.
You do any scouting reports? If you're seeing any good prospects?
I haven't looked yet, but I'll keep my eyes open. I know YD is in first place right now, so.
All right, he hit 281 with a 391 on base, 371 slugs, 762 OPS in 29 games.
Last summer?
Summer of 2025. So, obviously not as good with the metal bat, but not terrible. That's what
I want. That's what I want to hear out of my first round pick. He's not terrible.
When you're ranked 75th, I mean, that's it.
Hey, he had an incredible college career, and the Red Sox take these guys and completely change them as prospects. You saw that with, I'm going to say Christian Campbell. He was a guy like this, low ranked out of college, and for a year or two looked incredible, going through the minor league systems very fast and making his major league debut. They took a guy. Campbell was kind of similar to Schaffner, and then they've kind of changed him as a prospect, and he was able to develop that power and kind of develop better as a hitter and make it that MLB debut.
Mike, does this not reek of a Mikey Romero 2.0? Because it looks like Mikey Romero is just a 4A. He's a high floor prospect. Middle infield, lefty bat, righty glove, good solid glove, nothing special, no traits are going to fly off the page. Mike, why is he different than Mikey Romero?
Oh, he's not. No, Mikey Romero did not have the contact ability that Jake Schaffner had coming out of college. Or I don't know, Romero was a high schooler. But I really think Jake Schaffner separates himself with his ability to hit the baseball. It might not go over the fence, but he's gonna get that high average. He's gonna get that high on base. He's a really good eye at the plate. He's got that speed, so he's gonna stretch some singles into doubles. You saw 8 triples last year at UNC. So I think the speed and contact will get him up there. I have some comps, some MLB comps. I'm not going to call him Aaron Judge. Don't worry.
No, a mix between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, whatever. I have 2, Ernie Clement and Xavier Edwards. Those are a little bit on the higher end, but those are 2 second basemen that are pretty solid defensively, have some pretty good speed, and they're contact first guys. Those aren't guys that are going to hit for a ton of power, but they get down and dirty. They're great defensively, and they hit for contact. They have some speed. I think that's a solid MLB comp for Jake Schaffner.
Sounds like Jeff McNeil.
I could see Jeff McNeil.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Owen Hull. He's the 67th ranked prospect drafted at 67, so that's some good value. About to turn 22, another lefty hitter, righty thrower, 6'4", 215. He transferred to UNC from George Mason. He's a little bit more pop, 9 homers, but 27 doubles. He had 87 RBIs, and in that episode a couple weeks ago I mentioned that's the second most in UNC history. In all of D1 last year, he finished second in hits with 103, second in RBIs, like I said, with 87, and third in doubles with 27. This past season, hit .393, had a 500 on base, 615 slug, and a 115 OPS. So pretty elite. Over 1,000 OPS in his college career. That's over 3 seasons. A 372 career average. Again, he has a 55 grade hit, 45 grade power, 60 grade speed. So he's also up there with Schaffner with a great speed. He had 42 stolen bases in his sophomore season at George Mason, so he can steal. 50 grade field. He has an okay arm, but with that speed, can get to the ball pretty well. So I think he will play center field like he did at UNC. He played right field for George Mason, moved to center field for UNC. I think he has the tools to stick in center field.
Shout out George Mason. First mention on the pod. Big moment.
Exactly. Shout out George Mason. So a little bit more of a scouting report on him. Doesn't have the best bat speed. So honestly, kind of surprised the Red Sox drafted him because they love some bat speed. He hits the ball on the ground kind of a lot. But with some adjustments, I truly think he could be a 20 home run hitter at the big league club. His power stroke at the end of the season at UNC really turned around. The beginning of the season was a little rough power-wise, turned that around. So with making adjustments through the minor leagues, truly think he could become a 15 to 20 home run hitter at the big league club. Now my player comp for him is Brandon Nimmo. Both of them hit a ton of doubles. That's where you get most of your power with Owen Hall. He'll hit. So Brandon Nimmo in his career hit 15 to 20 homers on average. I truly think that's what Owen Hall will do in his career. But Brandon Nimmo really killed you with the doubles. He was leading his team in doubles almost every year. And that's what Owen Hall did at UNC, led the team in doubles. He's a pretty elite fielder in center field with some good speed. So I think that's where you kind of see some Brandon Nimmo in him. Also with the great vision, Owen Hall with the 500 on base, can really see the ball well. Brandon Nimmo was around the same. So above average hitting, above average on base, above average fielding. That's what I see out of Owen.
I hear a lot of Andre Ethier, if you remember him from back in the day, LA Dodger. That's ball knowledge right there. What I see with both of these picks are high floor type of players. We're talking about guys that are good defensively, guys that have produced in a premier conference, but guys that don't have a very high ceiling. These are guys that are going to be your... It scares me to say this. That these are the 4A guys. These are the roster-filling type of players. I was hoping to hear a trait that separates these guys from the rest of the prospects in the draft. And it doesn't sound like they have that. Don't get me wrong. These guys sound like some fine ball players, and if they turn out to be good and they have high character, I mean, look at us. We fell in love with Anthony Siegler. If those two end up like that, then I'm going to eat my words, and I'm going to be damn glad that we drafted them. So for me, if you're going to draft a high floor, low ceiling guy, they better be of the utmost character.
I agree, but something that kind of jumped my mind when you started saying that, I mean, if the Red Sox are convinced that that's who they are, and even, at their peak, if Owen Hall is a Brandon Nimmo, that's a solid guy, but maybe not a franchise-altering guy. Could we see in a year or two, like kind of what they did with Braden Montgomery, like if you're going to make a big trade, you include one of your latest first-round picks? Like, that was something that kind of jumped my mind. I mean, from what it sounds like, Hall has, I think, a slightly higher ceiling, maybe a bit of a lower floor. So, I mean, if they make a big trade in the next year or two, like, could they get the Braden Montgomery treatment, and could they be shipped out of here? I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I do agree with you. Owen Hull definitely has the higher ceiling. If Dave Dombrowski was here, these two would be shipped off today. He
Mike,
hates his prospects.
Mike, how old is Owen Hull again?
About to turn 22.
He's about to turn 22. Does it scare you at all that we got another left-handed hitting outfielder? How the hell is he going to separate himself in the outfield that's currently constructed? None of these guys are impending free agents that we have.
Honestly, it's a good question. I mean, it honestly feels like every outfielder nowadays is a left-handed bat. There's really no right-handed bats you kind of see nowadays. But I honestly think at some point they're going to move on from Duran and Yoshida. So that's two other spots. You're probably not going to see Christian Campbell again at the majors. So with the Brandon Nimmo comp, maybe you start seeing Owen Hall come in as a bench outfielder to start, and then once an injury inevitably happens, kind of works his way in there. Yeah, I mean, I truly think Owen Hull has the higher ceiling, but I'm a UNC truther, so I don't think you're going to get a very fair. Obviously, I think these two are going to be sick, but yeah, I could see the concerns out of people.
What was the report on Hull's arm? Can he play right? Can he play an elite right, or is he going to be a good?
It's not going to be an elite right field. He has an okay arm, so that's why they kind of move him into center field. He has the speed to kind of have a solid range out there in center field. But, I mean, he played right field at George Mason, but it's not an elite arm whatsoever. So at Fenway, he could probably play a good right field because it's a big right field, and he has the speed to cover that ground. So I guess if you're looking at it just in general, I would rather him in center. But at Fenway with that large right field, he could probably play that good. It's just the arm isn't going to be anything to write home about. And if you're a right fielder, you kind of need to have a good arm. So.
I don't want a right fielder with a noodle.
Definitely.
Yeah. I have one more prospect. I'm not going to spend as long on him because I was taking forever with those. This could be why we went lower slot value picks early. His name is Martin Sheeler, 18-year-old prospect out of Atlanta, Georgia. He is a high schooler, drafted in the 9th round. He's 6'2", 205, outfielder, right-handed. He's a right-handed outfielder.
Hey.
And honestly, the only thing I have about him is that he has elite power, and you don't see that out of Craig Breslow draft picks. He usually goes for the contact first guys, like you saw with Jake Schaffner, Owen Hull, are big contact guys. You've seen that for a lot of his picks. But Martin Sheeler doesn't really have the elite contact, but he has the elite power.
What position?
Outfield.
He's an outfielder.
Yeah.
Corner?
Yeah, right.
18-year-old corner outfielder with elite power. That's the kind of prospect that I like to hear. Give me the boomer bust. Give me, I want the guy with the superstar potential because, in my opinion, those are the guys that you can actually flip for real prospects. Nobody wants a middling prospect with okay tools. They want the guy that has the projectable 70-grade power type of swing.
Yep.
Especially in those late rounds. I mean, 90% of them aren't going to amount to anything regardless. So why not just take a chance?
So you want to hear some of his high school stats? in 33 games, he had 19 home runs. That is he also had a 506 batting average, a 1,200 slugging percentage, and an 1,800 OPS.
Why did they pitch to him?
Honestly, I don't know. That makes no sense. But him being born in 2007 should make all of us feel old. The reason he's going to cost
2008.
The reason he's going to cost a lot of money, one, the power is elite, but two, he is committed to Mississippi State. So for you to try to pry him away from going to college and going to a top baseball school in Mississippi State, you're going to have to give him a lot of money, way over slot. So that's where I see why they went with a guy like Jake Schaffner. to kind of throw more money at guys like this later on in the draft, some of these high school prospects that you're trying to pry away from going to college. So get them to go to the pros instead of college. And if you give them a lot of money, then there's no way you could say no to that.
I discovered a website called, I don't have the exact URL, but it tracks the Boston Red Sox draft contract status. Pretty elite.
Yeah, I've never heard of
because
that.
a lot of these guys get drafted and then like half of them go back to school. So we're going to make sure to get that link out on the socials. Shout out whoever runs that website, because that is a fantastic tool, because I know I am absolutely going to be looking to see if we sign, what's his name, Mike?
Martin Sheeler.
Martin Sheeler. That is the most create a player name, like random generated name I've ever heard. But Martin Sheeler, look out. Would love to see him up in the big leagues.
Speaking of draft picks that aren't signed, has Gabe Akis by the Patriots been signed yet?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I
don't
know that was a big thing. And
Yeah, he was the last one like a couple of weeks ago.
This was months ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
I mean, what's it called? Training camp starts in like a week or so.
Fighting a knee injury, wasn't he?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he has the potential to be a game changer out there.
He stinks of Keon White. Show me something that makes
Keon
him different
White
than
was
Keon White. Show
Keon
me.
White was overhated.
Ugh.
He was a solid rotational guy.
I know, but when we drafted him, he had all the talk of Gabe Akis. So, you know what? I need to see it first, because I drank the Kool-Aid on Keon White. I did.
I think we all did.
All right, back to the Major League roster. I have a big injury update for you all. We've got a lot of names here. Chime in when someone tickles your fancy. Starting off, Ranger Suarez. Ranger missed the All-Star game. He got taken out of his start on July 5th against the LA Angels. He pitched 2 2/3. He walked off pretty gingerly with a left groin injury. Haven't heard from him since. He's notoriously banged up. This is kind of the thing with Ranger Suarez. He doesn't have very many major injuries in his career, but he's always due to miss one out of every 5 or 6 starts. This looks to be no different. It looks like a pretty minor injury at that. So hoping to get him back once we return from the All-Star break. Conley Early. These guys heard me very afraid of Conley Early and his injury diagnosis. The reason being, he left his start on June 30th against the Washington Nationals with a left elbow injury. If you don't know, Conley Early throws with his left elbow. Conley Early got 2 opinions on this left elbow injury. 2 in a week and a half. And we went radio silence, no updates. I was freaking out. At the end of week 1, I'm like, what's the news with Early's elbow? What's the news? Because no news is usually bad news when it comes to elbow injuries in the major leagues. Well, on July 10th, we got that update, and it was okay. On July 10th, we found out that, again, Dr. Cobb coming in here, Conley Early has been diagnosed with a posterior elbow inflammation/irritation. And the important thing to note is that it is nothing structural. So he's still not back throwing, but it looks like it's going to be a week-to-week injury, and we are just going to really have to wait and see. Was I overreacting with this early stuff? Tell me. Be honest with me.
No, you really aren't. I mean, you hear elbow with a pitcher and your heart sinks. Mm-hmm. And honestly, with Early and also Tolley hasn't been injured yet, but both of these guys haven't pitched a full major league season. They've pitched in college, which is not nearly as long as an MLB season, and neither is the minor leagues. So I'm really curious to see the health of these guys throughout the second half of the season. Also, their play. They've both pitched elite the first half. Now, I want to see that continue for the second half. They have not pitched this long in their careers, and you kind of saw them with Tolley.
Ranger has.
Okay, no, I meant with Early and Tolley.
Okay.
With Early and Tolley, because they're younger, they've played in college and the minor leagues, have not pitched a full MLB season. You kind of saw them managing with Tolley on Sunday, only pitching him 4 innings. and taking him out for Bayo. So yeah, I'm just curious to see if they could both stay healthy and play good. But no, you didn't overreact at all. You hear elbow with a pitcher and you get terrified. And then sometimes these pitchers kind of try to push it because they're like, I'm fine. And then they push it too hard, and then they have to get Tommy John. You miss him for over a year. And I don't think we could afford missing Early or Tolley or literally anybody for over a year. You can't afford that.
Absolutely. And considering how they handled the Anthony injury, the Crochet injury this year, all these injuries, it's like some of these guys I completely forget around the team, like Oviedo, IKF. We haven't seen these guys in good knows how long. And it's like, what's the deal? Like normally
Don't
when you
spoil my segment, Stevie. Goddamn.
I'm sorry, but when you go on the IL for 15 days, on the 15-day IL, in my mind that signals, all right, it's going to be about a 2-week injury, maybe a week, and the minors rehabbing, and then we see you again. It doesn't mean you're gone for 4 months. Nobody ever talks about you. 80% of the fandom completely forgets you exist. And so that's what worries me, that give it some time. We're going to forget Early's on the team. And come September, Early, Tolley, Ranger, Crochet, Anthony, Meyer, all these guys are on the injured list, and no one knows what the hell's going on.
Thanks for reassuring me, guys. That was really nice of you. Thank you. All right. We're going to go a little rapid fire here because I don't have a whole lot that's breaking news. We're going to go rapid fire, and we're going to end with the big one that I want to discuss, okay? Couple of names here. Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck, recovering from TJ, Tommy John, back on the mound, doing some light mound work, reportedly eyeing a late 2026 return. Could we see Houck out of the bullpen to end the year? I was always a huge fan of using him out of the bullpen. He's really a true two-pitch pitcher. And if he's able to let loose with his velocity, that sinker, two-seamer, whatever you want to call it, is going to be elite.
Now that's a guy I completely forgot about. And
I'm
with you, Cobb. I really loved him out of the bullpen. He was like our closer for a little bit at one point. I think that sweeper can be elite out of the bullpen. And you get the best out of guys when they come out of the bullpen, especially out of these starters. Because with the starter, you're pitching 5 to 6 innings. You're not going to get the best stuff all the time or the highest velocity. But once you see these starters specifically go to the bullpen, they up their velocity. They up their stuff. I know this is an extreme example. You see that with Mason Miller, who started as a starting pitcher. Then he goes to the bullpen, and his stuff just becomes so much better once you use him in small spurts. I think if Tanner Houck comes back, definitely put him in the bullpen.
Yep. Houck is kind of a junk ball thrower. So when he doesn't have that velocity, and his velocity tapers off a little bit, then he's essentially just 46-year-old right-handed Jamie Moyer. Like, he's really nothing special because he doesn't have elite control. So
you use Jamie Moyer to describe Ranger Suarez. So I don't know if I take that as a legitimate comparison anymore because Ranger Suarez has been awesome since you called him Jamie Moyer.
That is true. Yeah, Ranger Suarez has earned his name back. But that's the news on Tanner Houck. So hoping to give you guys a couple more updates throughout the rest of the summer. Johan Oviedo. Johan Oviedo has entered a throwing program, and he is not close to returning. It feels like those two reports contradict each other, but that's the news that I was given. Moving on. Trevor Story. Man, how fun is this team without a shortstop that strikes out 40% of the time? I mean, so much fun. Trevor Story is back participating in light baseball activities. He had surgery for that hernia about 7 or 8 weeks ago. That recovery is usually 8 to 12 weeks. At best, we might see Story towards the end of August. That's after his rehab assignments. He might get back to true baseball activities. He might even start a rehab assignment early August. But he is still wait and see, certainly week to week. Garrett Crochet, don't have much of an update. Still not throwing. He is harboring a left shoulder and a lat injury. So a lot of fun there. I'm sure he's enjoying that. I'll tell you who is enjoying their injury, and that would be Marcelo Meyer. Marcelo Meyer, who has a stress fracture in his left forearm. But if you're out on the Cape, then you wouldn't know it because Marcelo Meyer is out partying his face off. We have no update on his injury. We have no update on whether he's going to be doing baseball activities, how his rehab is going. We have nothing. What we do have is plenty of videos and pictures of him all around town drinking his face off. Also, Marcelo Meyer, sources are telling me, does like ice cream. He does like ice cream and pretty girls. There's multiple reports that Marcelo Meyer has been seen taking pretty girls out to ice cream. So you heard that here first from the Fenway Faithful.
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news from the Fenway Faithful. I guess, fellas, that's kind of the first scoop we've had, isn't it? It's kind of a big moment.
Marcelo Meyer likes pretty girls and ice cream.
He's just like us, man. He's just like us. Meyer is battling the same injury. So, again, that is a stress fracture in the left forearm. Same thing as IKF. And, again, we have no progress on him as well. Isn't it kind of nice without these bums? I mean, they're kind of bums. But anyways, I got a kind of a sad one for you at this point. Tristan Casas. Terrible knee injury last year. He's been battling an abdominal injury for what feels like 20 years. And just recently was diagnosed with a new wrist injury, completely unrelated to the first two, completely shut down from swinging. Looks like his 2026 is toast. Really, really sad on that front, especially with how Wilson Contreras has been doing this year. Casas, who was supposed to be the future, has fortunately really just been forgotten about. And you always hate to see this.
Yeah, he might be like a non-tenor candidate coming up. He might be his career with the Red Sox might be done, and it's really sad because I was really hyped up for Casas, especially because we didn't really have a first baseman for a while, and he's the guy. He's the guy.
I drank the Kool-Aid as well. It was the power, it was the on-base ability, it was the size. I was all in. I was never bothered by his antics. I really wasn't. Was it a little over the top? Sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're adults. Get over it. If he's going to rake, then so be it.
I agree. I mean, it's been tough. I mean, and he definitely showed the times where he could hit, he could go yard, he could get on base. And I do wish him well, even if his career here is done. I can tell he really wants to succeed. I know it's breaking his heart that he's not out there. I mean, he's not a Meyer Anthony out in the seaport, out on Nantucket, partying every day. He's in the lab. He wants to get back out there. So
it's a great call, Stevie. I mean, say what you will about his antics. He seems to be a guy that is focused on winning baseball games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that could take him somewhere. Maybe not in Boston, probably for a 4th or 5th place team, small market team. But honestly, with Casas, we don't really. I mean, Contreras has been awesome.
Yep, really forgotten about it. All right, I got one more for you guys, and I want to talk about this one because there's a little bit more to it. Another guy that's probably not very disappointed about being injured. Who am I talking about?
Roman Anthony?
Roman Anthony, the superstar outfielder, who, again, probably doesn't give a fuck that we've won 9 straight and are a half game out from a wild card spot because he is out partying his face off. Say what you will. I'd probably be doing the same thing, too, if I had 9 figures in the bank. But anyways, let's talk about it from a baseball standpoint. Roman Anthony had a right ring finger tear on May 4th from a swing in Detroit. We are looking at 10 weeks now. He hasn't been able to swing, still not swinging. We got an interesting update last week. Roman Anthony is transferring his rehab to Florida. When you get sent down to Florida, that is where the guys go who are on long-term rehab. That is where Patrick Sandoval has lived for the last year and a half. So I want to read some of the Tracy quotes, and I want to put on our tinfoil hats and see if there's anything deeper in what we have here. So Tracy, again, on Roman Anthony being transferred to Florida for his recovery. Quote, "The other stuff, just being the day-to-day of being at Fenway Park. He's going to get asked questions about it constantly. And for him being in Florida, his focus is on one thing right now, and that's getting yourself healthy." Tracy also added, I expect we're going to be in a good spot regarding his next update with the doctor, but really just about getting him in a spot where he can focus each day on just pounding away, getting that hand healthy. Now, there's a very important word that Tracy used 2 times in that, 2 separate quotes: focus. It's easy to say, it's very clear when he's out there drinking and he partying, he's probably not focused on winning. But if this guy can't even get healthy because he's too busy partying, what kind of a superstar have we hitched our wagon to if this guy is completely unfocused? Because that's really what Tracy's telling you there.
That's pretty wild. You have to get sent off to Florida so that you could actually rehab.
Is that going to stop him from partying? I mean, I think that's going to make him party more.
He's not going to be with Marcelo Meyer. Or maybe he is. Meyer's hurt too.
I was about to say send Meyer out there too, but actually I don't want that. I don't want that.
No. Miami and Fort Lauderdale, they'll never come back.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll never hear from them again.
Keep Romy Gonzalez away from them too. I know he's not hurt, but it's a trio with those 3. Keep them all separated. Have Meyer stay in Nantucket like he's been. Keep Romy on the big league team and have Roman down in Florida. Separate all 3 of them.
In all seriousness, though, this is our manager talking about the superstar not having the focus to rehab in his home city of Boston, or at least his team's home city.
Yeah.
Imagine if when Mookie was coming up, what would David Ortiz or Pedroia, or even a guy like Hanley Ramirez or Mitch Moreland, what would they do if
true veterans?
Yeah, if Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. and Benintendi were out partying in Southie every week.
You said something very similar. I'm sick of what are supposed to be our superstars just getting injured all the time, these freakish injuries, and not taking anything seriously, and just not being on the field. These are supposed to be the future of the team. This is supposed to be the current superstars of this team. Roman Anthony was supposed to be our savior of this team. He was the reason we were supposed to win 90-plus games this year. Marcelo Meyer was supposed to be our future shortstop. I was kind of happy when Story got hurt because it gave us the chance to see Marcelo Meyer, and he gets hurt again, and he's just out partying all the time. I miss the days when we had guys like Mookie Betts, David Ortiz, Xander Bogaerts, even Rafael Devers. You could say anything you want about Rafael Devers. He played 162 games whenever he played. All those guys played 162. And even if they got hurt, even a little bit, they're fighting through that. You know how many times Xander Bogaerts got hurt and he just played through it because he wanted to win for this city and just play. He wanted to be on the field. That's all he cared about. That's all of those veterans that we've mentioned cared about. So I'm sick of these supposed to be superstars, supposed to be our big name stars, and they're just sitting out over half of the season because of these injuries, like a finger injury. That's insane to me. That's insane.
I know, but you just don't
some
credit. A finger is not
injury.
That's not an easy injury to deal with. That's going to affect you in everything that you do. I don't doubt that, but 10 weeks in to move down to Florida and your manager says that it's about focus. Maybe is he soft-skinned? We haven't heard anything. Nothing's come through the media about Roman, getting ticked off or anything like that. All things considered, he's been a cool, calm, collected guy. But maybe behind the scenes, does this stuff really get to him and Tracy sees that and doesn't want him to face that? Because if so, this guy just signed a 10, 12, 14-year deal in this city? Oh, buddy, you can't take it now. It's never going to get easier. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and to his credit, most of the media reports have been trashing Meyer so far. It's I don't remember who it was, but the report that people question his mental toughness, which now I'm starting to question as well. But I mean, Anthony really hasn't gotten that much shit from the media or from fans or anything. But yeah, maybe there is something behind the scenes because some of these injuries just sound a little bogus. Like, maybe you're out like a week or two, but why we haven't seen Roman in 4 months?
I don't buy that. I think it's a real injury.
Okay, it's a real injury, but does it really, like, if Ortiz or one of those guys got this injury, would they be out for 4 months with
I think
us?
they would. I don't think that it's a toughness thing necessarily. I'm going to go off what Tracy just told me. I think it's a focus thing. I think that Roman Anthony, a lot of these soft tissue injuries, frankly, it's kind of just the genetic lottery. Like, he was just swinging a bat. Like, there's nothing that you could have done to predict that happening. And now we have a pattern of Roman Anthony getting these soft tissue injuries. A lot of times those things don't necessarily clear up as you get older. I know I'm 23 going on 24, and my soft tissue injuries have certainly increased with age. They have not decreased. So I don't know if you guys can relate to that or not, but I'm an old man.
I know we've been on this injury topic for a while, but I wanted to bring up one other thing. I was listening to Section 10, and they were talking about all of these injuries that have happened this season in general. So what were the Meyer and IKF injuries you said, Cobb?
Left forearm stress fracture.
Forearm stress. You have the finger injury, and then you had Roman Anthony's, what was it, a lat or whatever
Lat.
he injured,
Yep.
lat.
Yeah.
Now,
oblique.
the Red Sox, one of the main things they focus on hitting-wise is bat speed. Do you think all these guys are getting injured because they're swinging out of their fucking asses and they're swinging way too hard? Because they've gone their whole career just swinging normal, and then they get to the Red Sox organization and like, we care about bat speed. You need to swing the bat faster. Now, all of a sudden, all these freakish injuries are happening that you don't normally see on an everyday basis. Do you think there's actually something to that with the bat speed correlating to some of these injuries you've been seeing with the pitching or with the position players?
Absolutely. I think Trevor, I'm trying to find it. Tristan Cassis told us that a couple of years ago, where he was battling this abdomen injury, and he said that the doctors told him he was swinging too hard. Like, what? Like, he's like it's like when somebody's throwing a football and they airmail you by 20 yards. They're like, oh, I don't even know my own strength, man. And so it's like, you hurt your abdomen and you're like, oh, I was swinging too hard. Like, you tool bag. Like, I do think that it does have to do with these nerds that are trying to focus on the analytics as opposed to the human being and what works for everybody individually. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna throw away anything that could be the cause of all of these soft tissue injuries.
I just want to put one thing out there. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane. In 2021, when Benintendi was traded to the Royals, I thought that was the biggest slap in the face they could have done. Because in 2018, keep in mind, he's probably my favorite Red Sox of all time, so I'm going to be a little bit biased. But 2019 was kind of up and down, but he showed what he could do. He was he was perfect. Yeah, he wasn't Mookie, he wasn't Devers, but he was going to be like the leadoff or bat second guy. But they messed with his swing. They wanted him to hit far more home runs than he's ever hit in his career. That's just not who he was. Like, maybe you can do that with Devers or someone. That's not who he was. He was going to be like a 280 hitter. He'll go yard like 15, at most 20 times a year. But they were trying to turn him into like a 25, 27, 30 home run guy. That's not who he was. That was disgusting. I mean, and I think that was Bloom. And maybe this is where it all goes back to, and who he brought in and he's still there. But that was so disgusting, how they canned Benintendi like that. He went on to be an all-star for Kansas City. Mm-hmm. I know Winkowski had a couple of solid years here, but we traded an all-star caliber,
Forgot that name.
For a middle relief pitcher who had 2 good seasons. So that's a great poll. Whoever brought that up, I don't know. I got lost in this tangent.
Yeah.
But that's something I've held in me for years, because how they treated that was absolutely disgusting. I was horrified. That's not how the story had to end with him. I mean, I'm kind of happy they didn't give him the contract that the White Sox gave him, and maybe like at some point, was he supposed to be here his whole career? Probably not. But that's not how that story was going to end. It was terrible.
Stevie, I'm glad you got that off your chest. Like I can see
you.
that's been pent up for a while.
Oh,
So.
that was disgusting. And because they wanted to mess with his swing and say, no, don't you, even though you were a first-round pick and you shot up through the minors, and you're a World Series champion, that's not good enough. We need to F up your swing and do our magical analytic things.
I mean, look at the Red Sox teams over the years. Back in the day, we had players like Poppy, Petey, Ellsbury, all that. They all just came up, did their thing, played great. We were a very successful team all those years. And now, all of a sudden, the past 6 years, we've been a very mediocre team, and it's because the nerds have taken over in the front office, and they're messing around with all these prospects. We used to see prospects come up all the time in the Red Sox system and perform. Mookie, Benny, Devers, even Pedroia and Ellsbury back then. They all came up and performed. And then you see now you have guys like Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell, Michael Chavis, all these, Tristan Cassis.
The nerds are Chavis in that.
I have to every time. But the nerds just mess with these players so much. The prospects, even the MLB players, making them swing too hard because they care so much about bat speed.
You know what I thought when we brought up Benintendi? It is possible, I forgot this, it is possible to be a highly touted prospect, to shoot through the minors, to have immediate success in the major leagues, and not make an ass of yourself partying around the city. Like, you can be a highly touted prospect, make a lot of money as a young athlete, and not be a fucking fool. And the reason for that is we had veteran leadership on those teams, as you had mentioned, Mike.
Maybe these analogies aren't the best, but, Rafaela and Bayo, even though they did fantastic in the minors, I remember when they were both, I believe, in AAA, like a video that was going viral is that Rafaela's swing was, like, basically copying Betts' swing, and, Bayo was, like, mimicking Pedro's form. And, there have been, obviously, Rafael's an all-star this year. Bayo's been a mess this year, but he did fantastic last year. I mean, some of this I just don't think is warranted. It's like, if a guy is, like, ascending and doing his thing, it's like, yeah, you can make some minor tweaks, but, like, to draft a guy or sign a guy who you trust and say we're just going to mess with them and do our own thing, even with, like, moving them position to position, I just don't understand that. Like, Duran was originally an infielder. Campbell's been all over the place. Like, Betts was originally an infielder. So I just don't think you got to mess with these guys. Just let them play. Like, they were drafted, or you drafted them or signed them for a reason. And if you just want to mess with, like, sign, like, high schoolers at Oyster River or Easton High or Milford High and do whatever you want with
It's called Oliver Ames.
Oliver Ames, so I did know that, sorry. But sign those guys and mess with them however you want and sign them for $50. But
my lasting memory of Benintendi is I had a doctor's appointment a couple of years ago, and doctor she was a female, and she was huge. She was probably like 6'2", 6'3". We started talking Sox, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my favorite player, Andrew Benintendi." Except he's, like, really short. He's, like, 5'9", 5'10". And then she looked at me and she went... she says, with her hands over her mouth, "How tall are you?" I was like, 5'9", 5'10".
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now whenever I think of Andrew Benintendi, that's all that comes to mind is a reminder that that I should be taller. It's so unfair. It's so unbelievably unfair because my dad is 6'1", he's like 6'2" in heels. My mom is like 5'8", 5'9", maybe, and she's not 5'10". My mom's probably 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". Like I don't have small parents, and I'm like the same height as my sisters. God, that should be my Jordan Hicks Award. Fucking genetics. But anyways, no, actually, let's be real. I hit the genetic lottery. I'm a good-looking guy. All right, back to baseball.
This is going to stay between the three of us, the fans. But we had an interesting genetics conversation on the way to New York City. If you guys are picking up what I'm picking.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go beyond that because we
Yeah.
don't know who can get their hands on this podcast. But it's
All
a
right,
little
let's
inside joke between the three of
Yeah,
us.
Stevie G went on a over hour-long tangent on this topic that we're going to keep silent.
let's
so.
talk about the Red Sox. Let's talk about the studs from the last 2 weeks. We're going to keep it positive here. Let's talk about Masataka Yoshida, our very first stud. We saw him in the flesh, going yard. The most beautiful running form ever for a guy with like 40 grade speed. I mean, we've seen it over the past couple of years. When this guy gets hot, he is a completely different level of hot, and he is a spark plug for this team. Since our last recording, July 1st, Yoshida is 7 for 18 with 1 home run. He's gotten his season average up to 264 with a 343 on-base percentage. He's right in line with his career averages. He honestly has one of the most consistent baseball reference pages that I've seen, and I kind of almost saw this coming. It's like he started out the season slow, and it's almost like you just know that Masa's going to have his 1 week, 2 week, sometimes 3-4 week rampage, and that is what he has been on over the last couple of weeks. Second stud, Connor Wong. You guys know me, Connor Wong, his biggest fan. I've been watching him. I always feel confident with him at the plate. I really do. And even when he might be struggling a little bit, he has that run. He has that speed that gives him that extra. It gives him that extra strength when he's out there on the field. Since our recording, he is a whopping 4 for 14. Again, not fantastic, but he's got hits in 9 of his last 10 games that he's played. This has been a long stretch for Connor Wong. And now the reason I put him on this list is 1 at-bat and 1 at-bat only. On Sunday in the 10th inning against the New York Mets, what did Connor Wong do? He laid down the most beautiful bunt, the most beautiful sacrifice bunt, the greatest bunt. These extra inning games with the Ghost Runner feel so easy to win. And for the last half decade, we've had to watch Cora put guys up there with a runner on second and nobody out and swing out of their ass. I don't know what our extra inning record was, but it can't be that good. And the reason that I don't think it can be that good is because we never bunted. Like, it's the perfect opportunity to. So, top of the 10th inning, first pitch, waste no time. Connor Wong lays down a great bunt, set us up to win that ball game. What do you guys think about the move to bunt with that Ghost Runner to start extra innings?
Honestly, so it's kind of like a team-by-team basis, but with this team specifically and how good our bullpen has been and how good our pitching has been in general, I love the fact that we bunted over, played safe, and then got the run in, because with that 1-run lead, I'm honestly confident that Whitlock or Chapman's going to come in and shut the door down, and that's exactly what happened. We bunted, got the run in, went up 1 run, and then Whitlock shut the door down in the bottom of the 10th. So with this team, I love it. And like you said, with Cora for years, just swinging out of your ass never worked. So honestly, you got to go and try something different. Go bunt over, get the secure first run. And yeah, if they go score 2 in the next inning and walk you off, so what? You at least scored that 1 run. You gave yourself a chance to win. At that point, it's the pitching's fault. But I love what they did on Sunday. That was an electric walk-off. Shout out Devin Williams for blowing that game in the 9th. That was beautiful. Shout out Francisco Lindor for botching that shortstop. That's what good teams do. They take mistakes from the other team and they do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan, especially if you're home and the away team didn't score in the top half of the inning. You just bunt the guy to third, then you got 2 shots to hit.
That's the easy one. It's the one where you're on the road and starting extras.
Definitely. I mean, I can see both sides to it. You know, generally speaking, I'd say it's more of a last resort. I mean, if you're at the bottom of your order, you know, it's better to get a run than nothing. But I'd say away, I'd lean more towards not doing it, just because as an away team, you want to target to get 2 runs. Because if you just get the 1 run, home team can bunt the guy, has 2 shots to get him in. So that I don't really think moves the needle. But there's definitely times, and Sunday was one of them, where you bunt the guy, especially if you still have Whitlock who can go in the 10th. Then that's definitely a good time to utilize the bunt. It's all situational, but generally speaking, I like that they bunt more, playing small ball. It's majority situational though.
You gotta look on. Sorry for interrupting. Just one more thing. You gotta look at who's on this team. Do we really have players that you're confident in to go out and get you 2 runs like that? We have a bunch of great bunters on this team. We have Connor Wong, we have Siegler, we have Chang, we have
Even
Monasterio. So many bunters, just guys that I love all these guys, but I'm not confident in them in going out and getting a double that could bring in 2 runs or hitting the 2-run homer besides Wilson Contreras. You don't have the Roman Anthony on the team to go out and mash like that, or the Devers or whatever. You don't have the guy that could swing out of their ass and get you the 2 runs. You have the guys on this team to bunt over the guy and get a dinker of a hit or a ground ball or a sac fly. Like, that's what this team is built of. It's just a bunch of fundamental ball players. That's what this team is. Fundamental ball players, and then a shutdown closer and reliever in Garrett Whitlock.
You know, when I was playing ball growing up, they used to tell me that I was a really good bunter, and I'm starting to realize now that wasn't a compliment.
I was also told I was a great punter too. I really don't think it is.
That's why we're doing a podcast, and we are not the subject of the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more stud for you. Jake fucking Bennett.
Love it.
What a dog this guy is. Acquired in December in a controversial trade, I might add, for Luis Perales. On the season, Bennett is down to a 2.64 ERA over 47 2/3. His last 2 starts since our last recording, listen to this. July 3rd at LA against the Angels, 7 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs on 92 pitches. Now, if you watch that game, those 2 runs came in the 8th inning against Bennett. He had thrown 7 scoreless. And so, what does he go out and do the next time? At Chicago, the Chicago White Sox, July 8th, 7 shutout, 4 hits, no earned runs at 81 pitches. I mean, I don't want to go to a Jake Bennett game because it's going to be 2 hours long. This guy works fast. This guy works efficient. He doesn't walk anybody. I mean, how can you not be a fan of Jake Bennett's? He's just been elected.
Yeah, like you said, it was a controversial trade. I really didn't like it at the time. I thought Luis Perales could have been something awesome for us. Could throw up to 100 miles an hour. So getting a guy of Jake Bennett's age, didn't really have a ton of major league experience or any major league experience. I wasn't a fan of it, but he has been an absolute dog. He has changed all of our minds on what we think of Jake Bennett, and now we're starting to think like he should be a part of this rotation in the future, and we don't have room for him. He's really pushing that door down. Like, he deserves a rotation spot. How do we give him a rotation spot? Do you make it a 6-man rotation when everyone's healthy? Like, that's how good he's been. It's like, you really thought he was going to be like maybe like a depth piece that would maybe start here and there, be whatever. Probably was going to suck because Breslow liked him so much. But there's a reason Breslow liked him, and now you really are starting to question, like, he deserves a rotation spot. Who do you take out?
We need to cover up the bottom line of our shirts. Thanks, Brez.
Thanks, Brez.
Walking to Fenway covering our man boobs. Just thanks, Brez. Like, nothing else to see here.
Yeah, I don't like saying thank you, Brez, a lot, but for Jake Bennett, I will say thank you, Brez, though.
Now to get into the duds, which honestly, this past week, probably for the first time all season, the star of the show has been the studs, because normally it's just us trashing everyone, but I'd say this has been...
We are fair and balanced, Stevie. We always have been, and we always will be.
Very fair and balanced. To continue on this fair and balance, let's get into the duds. So first, I'm just going to start off with my number 1 dud, which really should not be a surprise to anyone, is 2024 All-Star Game MVP Jarren Duran.
Is this 3 weeks in a row?
Probably.
Is this 3 episodes in a row he's been the dud?
Much deserved. I really thought us being there in New York was going to, change something, but it really didn't. I mean, each at bat, his batting average was ticking down a little bit more. It's just really sad to see. I mean, I thought he was turning a corner in his career. I thought he was here for the long run. But, I mean, this is brutal. He's down to 194 on the season. Obviously, the power's there with 13 home runs. But a lot of that was just one stretch where I think he hit like 8 of them within a short, compact amount of time. He hasn't gone yard in a while, not at least from what I can remember. His splits are relatively similar between facing left and right-handed pitching, but, I mean, it's like 210.
So he sucks against both.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like it's, I mean,
That's
sure
bad news, actually.
It is bad news. But just really sad to see, because I at least thought going into the season that he had to be a leader on this team, and he's really what's kind of holding the team back right now because he should be one of the better players. Next,
hold on. I just want to say, even during this hot streak, when Duran has gotten up with runners in scoring position, he has hurt the team more than he's helped. He's been a complete and total black hole, and I don't know if he has some blackmail on Chad Tracy, but Tracy keeps putting him in right into the middle of the lineup. It makes no sense. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, and the 2 games we went to, I felt like there were so many opportunities for Jarren Duran with runners in scoring position. I think there was one with bases loaded as well. Just like come on. Like, yeah, we're there. I want to see something exciting, and it was disappointing that he didn't show up. But it also, just because he's had such a bad year, like, he kind of needs to start showing up in these spots. And there were so many opportunities for him to pull up and do something meaningful. Like, all of the outs were so like at least like do a deep fly ball and get a run in. No, it was bases loaded, weak ground ball to third base, got no runs in, got nothing. It was just the most useless outs. It's just like he was either striking out or he's weakly hitting a ground ball and can't even advance somebody. Like, do something, man. It was really, really frustrating.
My next stud, maybe this is a little too harsh, but I'm going to give it to Romy Gonzalez.
Fair.
I could sit here and recite stats, but we all saw it firsthand. He just looked behind on the swing. He doesn't look like he's fully locked in yet. So this one I won't rip him too hard. He was out most of the year, but that was really tough to see. But also, maybe that's more in Chad Tracy. This guy hasn't played all year, and you're going to bat him
Great call.
5th. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, maybe Contreras or Anthony, you do that. You don't do that with a lifetime platoon guy. So, maybe there's more to that. The last one is going to be catcher Carlos Narvaez. He's been a disappointment this season, and I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, Wong should be the definitive starter. Wong just, has been better this year. He's been more locked in, far more consistently, and looks more invested in this team. Through his splits, Narvaez is hitting 280 against left-handed pitching. So, I mean, that's, one positive, but I mean, I'm sure Wong is also thriving versus lefties. So I don't really see a way that he's going to face more left-handed pitching. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think this should even be a hot take anymore, that Wong should be the starter. I mean, he's been better by really any measure. He's also more versatile, faster. Defensively, he looks more competent back there. So Narvaez is absolutely a dud. And, everything flies at the trade deadline. Maybe if they can get like a very cheap backup catcher and send Narvaez down to AAA to figure it out. Because Narvaez really has no value. Because he's still young. So maybe if they can get like some 37-year-old catcher and depart with their 26th ranked prospect to do it, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for any party. But those are my duds for the week. But a big at the top is Jarren Duran, and I don't think anyone is remotely close to him.
For people that still defend Carlos Narvaez, I'm going to diagnose them with CDS. That stands for Casas Derangement Syndrome. And this is diagnosed to people that defend players that have had one good half in their entire major league career.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Some could say Michael Chavis falls under this. But I'm not going to say that. Because I don't believe it. But some may say that.
Carlos Narvaez, that's another one where we were at the games and it was Duran and Narvaez back-to-back with runners in scoring position. Both of them did the most useless things ever, so it was the most frustrating thing in the world. I also think Duran deserves being a dud because the one thing he did do was the game we weren't at on Sunday, getting the game-tying hit in the ninth. Shout out for him for doing that, keeping the win streak alive, but we weren't there to see it. So
he got lucky. Does he get credit for that? He hit a pop-up that's not even out in a Little League field.
Yeah.
I need to know the expected batting average on that one.
A win's a win, a hit's a hit.
A win's a win, a hit's a hit. What are we doing? We are fair and balanced. We are going to be positive here on the show.
I want to give one more, ending on a positive note. I just wanted to give one shout-out because he wasn't a stud. Andrew Monasterio, we got to see him hit a home run and a triple in the same game. When the offense really wasn't doing much in that game, it was 0-0 for the longest time, and Monasterio blasted a 2-run home run. That thing was that thing was crushed, and it was really cool to see in person because we were on that side. We were on the third base side, so that was like really close to us. Just watching that thing go, that was really cool to see. And then he almost hit another one. Hit off the wall, ended up being a triple. It was just electric. So shout out Andrew Monasterio.
And Monasterio was going to be on the studs list. He was. For those listening on the pod, I am showing my notes right now, and Andrew Monasterio's name is crossed off. If I could give 4 studs, he would have been the 4th. Reason being is that he has cooled off. He hasn't been smoking hot during this stretch. He was 7 for 24 with 2 home runs since our last recording. His versatility is huge. So we'll give him the plug for that, but he was close. Yeah. He was close.
Yeah, and with Romy kind of struggling or looking like slow at the plate, get Monasterio more reps at first while Contreras is still suspended. Actually, I don't know how many more games does he have left on his suspension. One more? Okay, so for the one game that we don't have Contreras, play Andrew Monasterio. But I do think Monasterio needs to get more playing time.
Welcome in to the next segment. At the time of recording, we're in the middle of the All-Star break with the All-Star game going on as we speak. Last night was the Home Run Derby, one of my favorite events of the baseball year, where 8 sluggers come together to crown a yearly champion. This was the first time since 2011 where a Boston Red Sox player competed with, obviously, Wilson Contreras. And I'm not going to lie, despite being an underdog, boy, did he rake. He led the entire pool in the first round in home runs hit with 13. He technically tied someone with 13, but they count whichever had the longest home run. So for the record, we'll just say he was at the top, which he was. He also won and he did not win in the second round, I caught myself. He lost to former Red Sox, Kyle Schwarber. So kind of a win-win because whoever won that round, I was going to root for in the final. So even though Wilson didn't do it, I was still rooting for Schwarber. But obviously in the end, Jordan Walker, a young phenom, took it home. I doubt he was one of the highest picks. I think going in Schwarber Harper was projected to win. They had the highest betting odds. So great for the kid because I know he was, I believe, at one point the number 1 prospect in baseball. And for the start of his career, really wasn't getting it done. But he has turned himself around. So don't always give up on your young prospects because stuff like this can happen. So again, as we speak right now, the All-Star Game is underway with the American League in the lead last we checked. Notable Red Sox players are Cedar Rafaela, who was a reserve, Aroldis Chapman, who will come in hopefully later. I guess once this episode is out, we'll know for sure. Ranger Suarez was named an All-Star, but obviously due to injury, he will not be able to play. But a name that we should be talking about right now that I think every fan in and around Boston is very upset about is starting pitcher Sonny Gray. He was not named an All-Star. His ERA currently sits around 2.5. He's 10-1. He's been absolutely dominant this
11-1.
11-1, of course, because there was just one.
Against the Mets.
Yeah. 11-1. I mean, I know wins and losses don't really mean anything anymore, but 11-1. I mean,
still looks nice.
Yeah, you're doing something right if you're going out there and winning 11 of the games. So he's been absolutely spectacular, and a lot of fans, including myself, were very upset that he did not get the nod, especially in light of the Ranger Suarez injury. That just sounded like a replacement.
It looked like it was setting up perfectly for him to be replaced.
Exactly. So I was pretty upset about that, but hopefully we can see Chapman get an inning, Rafaela maybe get an at-bat or two, and put the Red Sox on the big screen.
I was very happy with Rafaela getting the nod. Huge props. Love him getting that notoriety around the league because he went from a defensive superstar to an all-around player and borderline superstar at that. I will crown him that as somebody that had those expectations for him at the beginning of the season. So Rafaela was my biggest surprise and the one that I am happiest to see. Home run derby last night. Sorry, Mike. What?
I was just going to, once again, it's Sonny Gray. It's just like, what else do you need to do? 11-1 with a 2.5. Like, what else do you need to do to get in the All-Star game? I mean, I get the All-Star game doesn't really mean much, but it's just like, come on.
He's a vet. He's been around the game long enough. I mean, it's not, I doubt it's that big of a deal to him. If the guy was 23, 24, then it's a much bigger thing, but he's a 10, 12-year vet in the majors. So
I just want to see as many Red Sox as possible. It means something to me.
I'm not exactly shedding any tears for him by any means, but
I think he'll be okay.
I think he'll make it. Can we talk the home run derby format?
I hate it. I was going to bring it up too. I hate it.
Go, Mike, tell us, do you guys have the home run derby format in front of you guys?
It was 20 swings per player in the first round. Any tiebreaker.
No bracket.
No bracket. Just first round only. No bracket. All 8 players go. Top 4 home run getters move on. Tiebreaker is broken by longest home run. Then when it goes to the second round, it is a bracket, the 1 versus 4 seed, 2 versus 3. Any tiebreaker goes to a 3 swing off. The swing total went from 20 to 15, and then it's also 15 swings for the final. Obviously,
so the swing total is a huge change. The last couple of years, we've seen the 5-minute timer, 3-minute timer. We've seen a timer, which has caused some serious controversy in the rules because they tried to enforce not having your pitcher throw the ball until the ball you hit lands. You know, we got little kids running around the outfield. We got drunk fans in the stands. We can't have 3 baseballs in the air at once. And that rule was never followed. It was never followed. It was impossible to police. You are so wrong. This format was awesome. We got to see the biggest home runs. We got to see nobody was rushed by any means. And you're leaving out the best rule. You're leaving out the Jordan Walker rule, how he won. If you hit a home run on your last swing, you get to keep going until you stop. I loved that rule. That is killer, and it sets up for the exact scenario that we want to see. A guy's down by 3, 4 home runs, 1 swing left. He has to go consecutive home runs, and that's exactly what we saw to end the night. I love the format. What was wrong with the format? Do tell.
I actually agree, but they're for different reasons. The reason I like it, I mean, semi-different reasons, that I think James Wood said this when he was interviewed, that when it's a timer, you know, the guy and even the people watching are just focused on the next swing happening instead of admiring a 480-foot home run. The reason why I personally like this new format is probably something we've all been subject to in fantasy football when you score like the second or third most amount of points and you happen to be playing the guy who finishes first or second, and you'd win against 90% of the league, but not the guy you played. I mean, that's happened to me a fair amount over the years, and it drives me insane. So I could only imagine how it feels when a player goes up there, hits, 20 home runs, but the guy he's against in the bracket hits 21, whereas in another bracket it was 11-9. So that's why
life, Stevie.
I know it's part of how it is, but I mean, at least for the first round, I like how, and then I like how it morphs into a bracket after that. But
Mike, what do you not like?
I'm not saying I don't like the timer either. I liked the old-fashioned one where it was the 10 outs, and you get to swing take as long as you want. Because I don't like seeing
take as long as you want.
You win the first round off of 13 homers. That's so boring. 13? I want to see way more homers than that. 13? It was pretty much an average of 13 per round. Like, no one even hit 20 home runs. Like, that's so boring. The home run derby is supposed to be entertaining. Some of the most iconic home run derbies that we watched as a kid were with the 10 out format and people hitting like fucking 30 home runs around. I want to see that. I don't like the timer, and I don't really like this one. 20 swings, like the most you're gonna see is 20 unless you go on a run at the end. Like I want to see way more home runs. I don't want to see fucking 12 homers. Like that's so boring.
You are forgetting how boring the out format was at the end. I forget what year they ended it, but the players abused it. I mean, they were looking at 4 or 5 pitches before swinging because there was no incentive to swing the bat.
They were doing that last night too. They were doing the same thing last night.
They were doing that in like the back half of the second round, like when they're fighting for winning the entire thing. That out format.
No. Wilson Contreras was also doing. There were so many people with the last ball because you could go on a run. They would let 2 to 3 walk by. I saw it almost every round. It wasn't just at the end.
I'm actually okay with that because of that anticipation for that last ball. Because if you hit a home run, you keep going. So you know what? If there's any time to slow down, that is the moment to do it. But the out format, you had these guys literally looking at 5 pitches for every swing that they were taking. It was crawling. You want to talk about boring? That was boring. We were watching a BP pitcher. That's what it was all about at the end. It was really bad. It was really bad. I think you forget how bad it was.
Well, I want to see as many home runs as possible. That's entertaining to me. So
I gotta say, the one gripe I have with yesterday, the camera angles sucked.
Oh my god,
they were moving around terrible. The camera like on every single swing, and it
was Netflix.
It was usually a front view of the batter swinging, which does not give you the best look when they're hitting it, I guess, past the camera. Like, it's really difficult to tell the trajectory and how well a ball is hit when you're looking at them and, like, the camera's moving and panning in front of them. I did not like that. Just don't overthink it. Keep the camera behind him and put a ball trail as well so I get a good idea of where it's going to land. Don't make me stare at this thing trying to squint and see it through the night.
Netflix live events, like sporting events, just suck. They don't know how to do it at all. Netflix has been bad.
I think that's my only gripe with it. I thought the rest of the event was done fine, but I guess the camera angles are pretty important.
Yeah, they're one of the most important things. There were so many times where they hit it and then, well, it was foul, but you don't know if it's going, like, they just didn't turn the camera to, like, show the ball. So you're like, well, I guess that was foul. They didn't show us where the ball went at all, but, I still like to see it, like, even if it's, like, close to being fair or foul. Or there was one home run that was, like, they called it foul, but it really looked fair, and they showed no replays of it, and we're like, show us the thing we want to see. I want to see that replay. I want to see how close it was, because to me, just watching that looked fair. And it just, Netflix wouldn't show us what we actually cared about. We are halfway through the season, at the All-Star break, and we want to kind of do an around the league type of thing. We said in episode 1 that we were going to talk Red Sox and we were going to talk everything else baseball around the league, and we have yet to do that around the league. This is our first ever around the league segment.
Wilson Contreras has given us too much content over these
Exactly.
3 months.
It's a good thing. There's too much to talk about with the Red Sox. We haven't had to go to around the league. But since we're at the All-Star break, there isn't Red Sox baseball currently happening to talk about. We each came with our own topic for around the league to talk about. Just for you guys that only watch Red Sox baseball, don't really know what else is happening. So Stevie, what do you have for us?
Absolutely. So if you haven't been paying attention to most of the league, I would hope at least you've heard some of these small market teams that are really making a big impact this year. Now, the White Sox have been one of the best teams, definitely in the American League, really in all of baseball this year. This is the same organization that's finished with over 100 losses in recent years, really had no vision for the future, overpaid a bunch of guys, Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, who never really amounted to anything after a year or two. But wow, has that franchise been turned around? I mean, they currently lead the AL Central. Sorry, at the time of filming, they're tied with the Guardians for the lead in the AL Central, but nobody expected that coming into the season. I mean, with how weak the AL is this year, they could be a legitimate World Series contender to come out of the AL just because of how weak it is. But what a story. I mean, nobody expected this turnaround to be like this. Obviously, Colson Montgomery is looking like one of the better hitters in baseball. Even Benintendi, who we were talking about earlier, he's been having a solid season. Murakami, who was raking in the home run derby last night, who really no other MLB team wanted any part of. And then they're developing guys. I mean, our old friends Kyle Teal, Chase Meidroth, and Breda Montgomery are getting in some good minutes for them. So really a way that they've turned that franchise around, because they've been one of the biggest jokes in baseball the past decade. So it's awesome to see them winning and, you know, that they have some leap for the future. The next team is the Miami Marlins, who are currently third place in the NL East, sitting at 52-45 and in a wild card spot. Now this, maybe they're just on a hot streak right now, but boy, has the past month or so really turned it around for them. Another franchise that's been a joke for the better part of the last decade. They look like they're going to be a serious team that's going to add at this deadline. They have a tough division with the Braves and Phillies, who the past half decade have been World Series contenders every single year. But for a team that is bottom 3 in payroll, not only is it great for them, but maybe that's going to cause some disruptions in the CBA negotiation with teams that are at the bottom, and the Nationals aren't too far behind them, who are performing at such lower levels of payroll. Also the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I think we've talked about them a little bit. I have my doubts about organizations like the Brewers and the Rays, because this is kind of a yearly thing with them where we see them performing and ascending during the regular season. But once it's time, when it matters most, kind of they lose all their power because they just shuffle through guys left and right. But they're having a fantastic season. They sit at the top of the NL Central, 5 games over the Cubs right now. Unfortunately, they are being led by Kyle Harrison. He's been one of their best pitchers, who was in a Red Sox uniform not too many months ago. Then finally, the Cleveland Guardians. I don't really have much to say about them other than they're tied with the Chicago White Sox. They have had some good teams over the past decade, definitely better than the track record of the Marlins, White Sox, some of those guys. But they're at it too. They're probably going to buy at this deadline and give the White Sox a run for their money. So bottom line is, obviously teams like the Dodgers, Braves, Cubs, Yankees, teams going into the year who you thought were going to be playing well are playing well, but even some of these smaller market teams, and much of which who I just named have been jokes for the past 8, 9, 10 years, are getting it done. So it's been a weird season, especially in the AL. So those are some of the notable teams from around the league.
You know, it's always tough with these small market teams because they're so easy to root for. But then these are the types of owners that we hate the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm almost guilty rooting for these types of teams. Like, how can you not watch the Miami Marlins and just root for that pack of scrubs? I mean, I like them because I'm a big Xavier Edwards fan, as you guys all know. But I mean, like the White Sox, what a cool story, and a bunch of former Red Sox prospects. The Brewers and the Rays always getting it done with low salaries. I mean, like, pretty likable teams.
So what I'm hearing is that if it weren't for the Red Sox, the White Sox would be bad because we've given them 3 of their core players on that team. You also forgot to mention their best player, Miguel Vargas. Shout out Miguel Vargas.
21
homers this year and an 848 OPS, like out of nowhere.
Well,
one of the main reasons they turned around.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the big market teams have not had it as easy as these small market teams. We've had some managers be shuffled around even in the first half of this year, starting off with the hometown Red Sox. Alex Cora fired after 27 games. He was replaced with Chad Tracy, who was coming from AAA. Alex Cora was 10-17 at his time of firing. Chad Tracy is now sitting at 36-31. Pretty remarkable stuff. In Philly, there was a similar turnaround, but even to a greater extent. Rob Thompson was fired 28 games into the season, where the Phillies had a 9-19 record. Since then, since appointing Don Mattingly, current bench coach, or he was the bench coach, but former manager for a dozen plus years with the Dodgers and the Marlins, the Philadelphia Phillies are a whopping 45-24. Just really great stuff out of them. Another really likable franchise because of a lot of those Red Sox connections. Dombrowski, Schwarber, and I've always been a big Trey Turner fan. And finally, the lowly New York Mets. You know, it was pretty funny. So the Mets, they fired their manager Mendoza, Carlos Mendoza, at 34-47. And since replacing them with an interim manager, Andy Green, they've been 6-10. So they sucked before, they sucked after. This interim manager, Andy Green, do you guys know what position he held prior? Any idea?
It's going to be something preposterous.
VP of Player Development. So
odd.
So when I look at the Red Sox and the Phillies, I see one baseball guy replaced for another baseball guy. And I really do believe, across all sports, that jolt from an underperforming team firing their manager, that is a very real thing. I think that's across all 4 sports. But when you replace him with a guy that VP of Player Development, I'll be honest, I didn't do a lot of research on Andy Green and all that he has to offer. But just off of that title, how can you be in a depressing season as the New York Mets are, your head coach Carlos Mendoza is fired, and you get replaced with this stiff? I mean, there's no coming back. What's the point? I mean, you nail, coffin, over.
It's because Juan Soto clearly needs to be developed more, obviously, and Francisco Lindor and Devin Williams, they clearly still need development.
Yep.
That's probably what.
And I hate to dunk on the Mets because the Mets were so great to us this week. They gave us 3 tickets to Friday's game and Saturday's game. We just had to pay a small fee to Ticketmaster. So shout out the New York Mets. They were really great to us, and the Mets fans love Red Sox fans. They really do.
Every time we went up to, or like we were just walking around, they would like try to chirp us, but then in the end they're like, we don't actually hate you. Like we like the Red Sox. We hate the Yankees. That's something we could agree on. We would bond with all these Mets fans because we both hate the Yankees. And there was a lot of a lot of Mets fans. They're like, yeah, my AL team that I root for is the Red Sox. So there's a lot of turnover. And then obviously the '86 World Series that we had to hear a lot about, that they bring up that they beat us. So just a lot of camaraderie with these two fan bases. So yeah, shout out the Mets, shout out their fan base. Sorry you guys are sucking so bad, and hired a bum for a manager.
VP of player development.
Like if you thought the Red Sox had it bad at one point, I think there's worse out there, and I think that's the New York Mets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But speaking of player development, we got the Rookie of the Year race going on. I think this is honestly one of the better rookie classes I've seen in a little bit. There's a lot of people to talk about. So number one player is shortstop Kevin McGonigal of the Detroit Tigers. Has a whopping 4.6 WAR this season, 8 homers, 34 RBIs, a 283 average, 812 OPS. He is 99th percentile in chase percentage, so he's a very high on base. He walks a ton, 88th percentile in xWOBA. Just an awesome season out of the shortstop in Detroit. They're having a really bad season, but, you know, at least they have a bright spot in Kevin McGonigal. We mentioned this name recently, and that's first baseman of the Chicago White Sox, Munetaka Murakami. 20 home runs this year. He was just in the home run derby. What is going on?
Stevie, you got a fan on, bro?
It's 1,000 degrees in here.
Stevie, shut it off, bro.
I'm gonna be drenched.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, shut off the fan. All right, we got a little show blooper going on live here. I said, Stevie, you got a fan on. And he says, and then
dude, I'm dying in my room right now. My AC's off,
bro,
but I have to do it for the podcast.
Bro, you're like, what is it? Like 20 questions, bro? Like, he's like,
dude, I like looked at the screen and Steve's going, yeah. I go, what is happening? I'm just gonna keep all this in. I'm not even gonna cut this out. I don't care.
Keep it in because I mean it was very clear when the fan turned on.
Yeah.
Just very unprofessional from Stephen Griffin. Really expected more out of him.
My room is very hot too, but like the second the show's done, I'm putting the AC on. Just
yeah,
we're almost done. We're almost done.
Stevie, we're in the bottom of the 9th inning here.
I know.
Devin Williams is in the game. Surely this will go really quick.
Devin Williams in the great game, shitting down his leg right now. Okay, as I was saying, Munetaka Murakami. One of the main reasons why the White Sox are where they're at this year, and no one wanted him this offseason for some reason. I was one that wanted him on the Red Sox before we went and got Wilson Contreras. I thought he was going to be a stud, and he's been a stud. 20 home runs, 911 OPS. He has been fantastic this year. He's 98th percentile in average exit velo, 99th percentile on barrel percentage, 99th percentile on hard hit percentage, and 99th percentile in walk rate. And if you guys don't know, 99th percentile is literally one of the best. Like, it's 99th and then 100th percentile. Like, he has been awesome. If you look at his baseball savant, all red, so red. He has been awesome this year.
We need to do a math lesson with Mike Willard of the Fenway Faithful. That was a really great explanation of percentiles.
Yeah, of course.
We're getting off the rails. Keep going.
Yeah. So those are the two main ones I want to talk about because those two have been sick. But this is a really deep rookie class. So I'm going to kind of list off some of the other guys. Sam Basayo, 15 homers, 772 OPS. J.J. Weatherholt of the St. Louis Cardinals, 755 OPS. Just signed a 8-year, $112 million extension.
Playing shortstop for a good team as well.
Exactly. Yes, playing great. Another good team as well, Toronto Blue Jays with Okamoto. The two
He
Japanese...
should have been a Red Sox.
Yeah, both. I wanted both of them before we got. Okamoto plays third. He plays everywhere, but I wanted both of the Japanese stars. 22 homers, 62 RBIs for him, and a 788 OPS. So Okamoto has been sick.
He made the most sense. He really did. It was like talking about this offseason. Okamoto 1, Pete Alonso 2, and
all these Japanese players coming to the league and performing, minus Masataka Yoshida, I guess. You've seen Seiya Suzuki do good. Obviously, Otani, Yamamoto, Sasaki. Now you have Okamoto and Murakami. It just keeps on going. And then we just saw these two in Citi Field. Carson Benj and A.J. Ewing, both outfielders for the New York Mets, both have a 730 OPS or higher. The only bright spot of that New York Mets team is their outfield with Ewing, Benj, and Soto. So that's really the only thing they got to look forward to. Some other names. Chase DeLauder, just below 800 OPS and 11 home runs on the season. Parker Messick, starting pitcher, also on that Guardians team, a 2.73 ERA, 110 strikeouts in 112 innings, and almost threw a no-hitter this year. And some other names, Nolan McLean, Sal Stewart, Carter Jensen, and Peyton Tolley. This is a stacked rookie class. So this Rookie of the Year race is going to be one to look forward to, and the future of the league is looking very bright.
If you've made it this long, don't close out right now, because we have the best part of every single episode. That is when we look back at the last 2 or so weeks and identify a worthy candidate to be the winner of the bi-weekly Jordan Hicks Award. Now, this award does come at a cost. In some capacity, the person, place, or thing has to deliver an immense amount of frustration, depression, so many other things that probably aren't even appropriate for this video. So without further ado, I would like to proudly hand the Jordan Hicks Award to the one and only Chicago Midway Airport. Now, this might be the first human winner, but maybe it wasn't the airport's fault, maybe it was the team's fault. But yeah, it's completely ridiculous to postpone a major league game unless there's like a blizzard or a tornado or something so obscure that happens once in a blue moon. But you're not flying to your next opponent until 2 hours before the game starts. I mean, isn't that why the last game of each series is at 1 p.m.? So you have the whole afternoon to get ready and fly to your next destination? That was just weird. And the way, just so everyone listening knows, the way that we found out about this is we were just strolling the streets of Manhattan, not a care in the world. We're having a great time.
When is this? This is Friday, like 4 p.m.
Yeah, Friday, middle of the afternoon. We're having a great time in our Red Sox stuff, checking out Manhattan. Really, at that moment, the Red Sox were the last thing on our mind. We're just checking out the city.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, and a guy just comes up to us and he's like, the Red Sox plane hasn't left yet. And at first I was like, all right, this is just some troll, like...
Some crackhead on the street.
Yeah, some crackhead that reads like Reddit stuff all day. But then we saw on Twitter, it's like, yeah, the Red Sox plane has not departed yet. And I'm like, this can't happen in the major leagues. I mean, it can't. So whoever's fault that was, that's definitely the winner. That's a little embarrassing, inexcusable. I mean, obviously they still won, but it probably had to throw them off mentally at least a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't want to get off a plane and start playing baseball an hour later. I mean, gotta get in the...
A wise man had told me not too long ago that plane was the reason that we are on this hot spell.
Yeah. When they don't have to think about the game, they just get off the plane and just play. They play awesome. They're a great group of guys together. They made T-shirts about it. It just brings the vibes up. I know waiting in an airport for hours sucks, but it gets them to play good. So honestly, I'm happy.
Then I won't complain again.
I'm happy that the airport fucked up. Just keep fucking up their planes, and they'll win games. I am torn between my two.
You can't get two.
I'm going to give my honorable mention at the end.
No, fine, go.
Well, my first one, I know I was just saying how Mets fans are great, but I'm giving my Jordan Hicks Award to Mets fans because of how ungrateful they are for having such a star like Juan Soto on their team. We were at 2 of the games, and the whole time, no matter what Juan Soto did, you bum, you fucking suck. Was that bunt $100 million bunt? Dude, Juan Soto's having an awesome year. He's not the reason you guys are bad. They are not grateful whatsoever for having such a star like Juan Soto. It's year 2 of his contract, and all of them already want him out of there. You know who they should be shitting on is Francisco Lindor. He's having an awful season and has been injured. He hasn't been on the field. He's one of the reasons you guys are bad, not Juan Soto. There was like a kid behind us every 2 seconds. Anything that Juan Soto did, he was just completely crapping on him. He had a 4-pitch walk, which is good. And you bum, imagine walking on 4 pitches, you bum. So many fans in the crowd were just completely shitting on Juan Soto. They don't deserve him. My honorable mention is the Empire State Building. I just wanted to say it again.
Oh, that's the only right one. That should have been it. My Jordan Hicks Award is going to go to Tullamore Irish Whiskey. And it has nothing to do with actually drinking it. I don't drink whiskey. Everybody that we talked to before the game was extremely receptive, extremely nice to us when we asked for an interview. And I wanted to interview the Tullamore Irish Whiskey like pop-up truck. Looks like they were giving out like samples or whatever. Giving out samples of whiskey's effing nuts. But anyways, I wanted to interview him. I was like, let's talk Sox, or we can talk about whatever you want to talk about in life. And just incredibly rude. Did not get a good answer out of them. And, you know, frankly, I'm glad we didn't, because clearly it would have been a shit interview anyways from a bunch of bad people. So Tullamore Irish Whiskey, forever a Jordan Hicks Award recipient.
That's a solid one. I forgot we tried to interview them.
The only person that ever gave us any shit.
Yeah, no, literally there was a couple that were like, "Oh no, sorry," but they were nice about it. They were nice about it. But no, every company we asked said yes. Like you asked the guy who was like handing out the hot dog or the food or whatever. You had the beer like boat hut or whatever at the beginning. Everyone was pretty nice about it. So yeah, that's honestly a good Jordan Hicks Award. But anyway, this has been a very long episode. So thank you for listening and sticking with us. Couple shout outs. Shout out Joe's Pizza. Shout out New York for hosting us. Shout out to our small ass Airbnb. We were crammed in there. Made us feel big. Shout out to the Indian people that were taking pictures of us when we were just looking around the city and got some pretty sick pictures. Shout out Citi Field. Pretty cool. Shout out Steve Cohen for that big ass screen. Shout out everyone at Fenway Faithful. Shout out the fans. Shout out the fans. You guys have been great with the content. It's been some of our highest numbers yet. So shout out to you guys for liking the content. We're getting as much as we can out. We're going to go to so many other ballparks, get more content. Any shout outs you guys want to give?
Hey, we love all of the love. Anybody that texts me, reaches out, comments, ats me regarding the Fenway Faithful, I genuinely, truly love it. So keep it up. I'm always down to talk Sox, but truly the support, whether you listen or not, whether you're just throwing a couple of likes in on social media, really everything makes a difference. So much appreciated to all the fans out there. Number one fan of the podcast, Dan Cobb. I got a Fenway Faithful
number
shirt.
one Twitter fan.
Yes. Yeah. Dad, you might be the only Twitter fan we have, but we're going to keep running the Twitter for you because you are such a loyal fan. You got a shirt, one of these beautiful shirts waiting for you here. I'll see you soon, Dad. Love you.
I just want to give a big shout out, nothing to anything specifically, but really to everyone out there. I'm sure as most of my friends and family know, next week I officially launch my professional career. So I'm eternally grateful to all. Thank you. I really am eternally grateful for all my friends, family, UNH, professors, faculty, campus organizations. really everyone who's built me to who I am today. Obviously, next week is a huge milestone in my life.
Libby's, Scorps, Uni Market.
Sports.
Let's be real.
So many things that I could be here all day thinking. But next week is a big change in my life, and I'm really grateful to everyone out there who has supported me. It really means a lot. I wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything that I have throughout my life without the incredible people around me. So thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for those who support me more on a personal level. And yeah, next time we film, I will officially be a real working man in the corporate world, not just a recent alum, fun employed. I know that's like the term when you're in the life stage I am right now, but I got a lot coming up, but I've had a great summer so far, obviously with them, family, everything in between. So this will be the last one as a not career professional person.
Before we go, Stevie, what's the one thing you're looking forward to most starting your professional career?
Bringing home that bread, more New York trips.
Money. Oh, God.
Games, more everything. But no, I'm really excited to, meet new people, begin this chapter in my life. Obviously worked hard throughout 4 years at UNH and so much before that. And I've been a middle of the pack student my whole life, but I've always been much more driven at work. I'm more motivated by money than I've always have been by grades or writing essays or anything. So I am a little excited to be compensated through pay, not through getting a good grade or a good notification on Canvas. So
You sell yourself well, Stevie. You sell yourself well.
Yeah. Well, once again, thank you for listening. Follow the Instagram, the Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube. Yep, all of it right there. Fenway Faithful Pod on IG and YouTube. Fenway Faithful 0 on the Twitter. We have so much more content coming out. Obviously, this podcast episode, we have so many more interviews to get out. So much content. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Let's go.
woo!